Hey, it's MK, and I am here with challenge number 2 for the Counterfeit Kit Club, and it is called Making It Messy. I'm also playing along with Christy's Beautiful Life 30 Days of Sketches, and today's sketch is by Gina Lee Cunningham. So I have this thicker set by Cedar House. Well, it's actually by American Crafts, and it's for the Cedar House collection, and I was thinking about using this epic adventure little saying or stickers. I also am bringing out these cut files that I created for this particular kit, which is just a bunch of fun little tickets and things in a banner style. I also have some chipboard pieces. One is from 49 and Market, and the other one is from Dusty Attic, and a film strip left over from 49 and Market, I want to say from the Hike More collection. From Minte, I have the die cuts from the Traveler collection. I also have 3 photos that I will be working with, and I printed them all in 3x4. So there are my 3 photos, and then I have this gorgeous, oh my stars, isn't it beautiful? From Minte, it is the Traveler's paper. I want to say it's paper number 3, but I don't know if I actually hold it up there for you. Oh, I do. Yay. Thank you, past self. So I am holding it up. It's paper number 3. It's beautiful on both sides. You guys, check out this Traveler kit or collection. It's just to die for. All right, from yesterday's layout or Sunday's layout or one of the other layouts where I cut the giant cloud, I'm going to be using the leftovers for these pieces. I don't use all the leftovers, but I do use a good chunk of them. And I have this white piece of cardstock so I can get messy. I have 2 oxide inks. One is gathered twigs and the other one is old paper. And then I have a blender brush for my old paper and a stamping block with no stamps. So let's get started on making a mess. And the first thing I'm going to do is trim up my paper for that giant ticket that Gina has on her sketch. But I need to know how big the ticket needs to be. So I'm going to actually trim up my photos and leave a little bit of white space around my photos, and then trim up this really cool paper. I'm not sure if it's meant to look like a bunch of rivets in a line. I don't know, but that is exactly what I feel like it does. So I'm just making sure, because I'm going to need every little bit of this paper that I possibly can get, but I'm just making it to where I can get 2 solid photo mats, and then one I will have to piece together, but it'll be just fine. Nobody will even notice that I pieced it together unless they watch the video, right? I should stop recording myself so that way I don't have evidence of how many times I actually cheat when it comes to scrapbooking. But then I think I would have a lot of upset viewers if I did that. So here I am just making sure that I have enough of this piece right here, because I didn't want to cut into my 12-inch strips that I still have. I think that they will come in handy on another layout, probably not this month, but on another layout. And so here I am just trying to figure out where I'm putting all of my pieces and how I will get them to look the best as far as coverage wise, because I do have one tiny little spot that kind of divots in a little bit from the photo that it's not perfect all the way around. But like I said, yeah, by the time the layout's done, nobody will even notice. So I'm trying to figure out the arrangement of how I want my photos, and I feel like that is a great placement. I have 2 color photos and 1 in black and white. These photos are from a photo shoot. We do a winter photo shoot as well as a spring photo shoot down in Ely, Nevada. And it's for the railroad, and basically you go in, you take a ton of pictures, you get lots and lots and lots of photo opportunities. They pull out the trains, they push them back, they pull them out, they push them back. So it's not like a one and done type of thing. They actually literally play with trains all day long. So photographers get all of these opportunities. Some of the photographers go in and they want to make sure that they actually get people in their photos as well. So this is the maintenance crew here standing next to our snowplow that we have in the shop that keeps it rides on the tracks and it keeps the tracks free of snow. So that way the train can stay on the tracks. As heavy as trains are, if there is enough snow piled on the tracks, they can be derailed. It is quite scary to think about because you have absolutely no control over the snow unless you have a snow plow in front of your train. So just letting you know. And not a lot of people want to take a snow plow, from one side of the state to the other in December, trying to figure out whether or not you have, snow on the tracks. But it was scary back in the day when this was your actual mode of transportation. Okay, so the first thing I did for my Make It Messy was I blended out my old paper ink, and then I took my gathered twigs and smashed it on my desk, watered it down, and then I used my stamping block for basically the packaging technique. When I don't have packaging, my stamping block is the next best thing. I'm still kind of new at it. There are, like, my very first impression when I do it, when I put the stamping block down on the paper, it's never what I'm expecting it to look like. But overall, it is a work in progress, a practicing piece. But I figured that with what I've got going on and how much photos are going to do all the covering, it'll be fine. So the first thing I did was I was going to use this washi roll as my ticket maker. And then I realized, I think that's too big. I should have, and then I didn't. And the reason why I didn't move the washi tape out was because I didn't think I could eyeball it that well. So I went with it. I thought, you know what, this is supposed to be a fun and unique layout, so I'm going to just go with it. My ticket's going to have these big old huge divot corners. It'll look fabulous. It'll be just fine. So I'm going to go ahead and trim out these photos, but instead of going the complete curve of the washi tape, I'm going to try to make them straight and then go into the curve and then cut out straight. I hope that makes sense. But that is what I'm going to do. And then I'm still not happy. It's not as grungy and dingy as I thought it was going to be. I should have added a little bit of rusty hinge to this, but I wanted to stick with the two colors that I shared with you guys. I thought, you know what, I can make this work. I'm going to make it work. It's going to happen. So first thing I decided to do was heavily distress the outside edges, thinking that, maybe that'll make it better. But now the inside looks too clean, if that's a thing. So I'm going to go back through and heavily ink my paper. And it's like, I really didn't want to do this much work, but to be honest, the problem is starting out with a white piece of cardstock and then trying to get it to be dark, especially to match the front of that train that's in the Minte paper. So it's a challenge. Then I went ahead and splashed some water on my ink that I had on the desk from the blending brushes and used my block again to add more color. Now I'm just taking a fan brush and dipping it into my paint just like watercolor and splattering a little bit here and there. It's not a whole lot, but it is something. And then I decided, okay, I need to clean up this ink because I don't like to waste a whole lot. And so I'm just going to go ahead and gather it all up as much as I can. And ta-da, now I'm pretty happy with how it looks. I know I've got a big old ink blot in the middle, but you know what? A photo is going to cover it. It'll be just fine. And last but not least, I'm going to go ahead and distress the edges of my giant ticket. I thought about taking the two end pieces that look like they stick up just a bit too far. I thought about taking those and trimming them off, but by the time I add my photos back to this little ticket, they actually make a lot of sense. So here's where I was telling you guys that it is perfectly fine that I have that little divot and misfortune in my photo mat, because when I distress the edges, nobody will ever know. They're all wonky now. Yay! They've all got divots and rips and tears. So you can't even tell where my papers did not make a complete photo mat all the way around my photo. I'm super excited about that. I love distressed layouts, you guys, because the imperfections are non-existent. There's no such thing as imperfection when it comes to distressed layouts and all that stuff. Plus the fact that it adds so much dimension to your layout, whether you're putting things on top or whether you're just using the distress edge as your dimension. It's still just makes the layout pop. I'm not trying to convince anybody that they need to add distressing to their layouts, but I'm just expressing that it's my favorite. It is one of the things that just, all I need to do is just this, right? I did that on a layout the other day. Is I put it together before adding anything else. I just put all of my papers on the page and thought, you know what? I just want this. I don't want to put anything else. I don't want to add photos. I don't want to add embellishing. I just want this. But of course I finished it. So okay, and I am using tear and tape to glue all of the things down. I used tear and tape on the ticket because it was still slightly wet because I'm that impatient. And I'm using tear and tape on the photos because sometimes the oxide stays, I don't know if it stays wet, powdery, whatever the word is, I'm not really sure. All I know is that it seems like if I don't use a very strong adhesive, then the adhesive doesn't stick at first because I move things around too much. So it's just a note that I've noticed. So my first thought for the title was going to be Epic Adventure. I know it says Adventures, but it's just going to be Adventure. I might have used the S maybe, but probably not. And then I found this one that says Work Hard, Play Hard. And I thought, this is actually perfect. Plus, it's a lot smaller and takes up a lot less space. So I think I'm going to go with this one instead. It just matches my photos a lot better. So I'm going to go ahead and leave that there until I figure out whether or not that's really the title I want to do. And I'm going to go ahead and take whatever's left of old paper on my blending brush and color in this cut file. And I should have left it white, you guys. Oh, I'm so mad at myself. I should have left it white. It would have stuck out a little bit more. But in hindsight, I wanted it to blend in. I didn't want it to stick out like a sore thumb. But with all the white in the photo and the white in the title, I should have left it white, but that's okay. It is done. It is over with. So inside my empty frames, I'm adding a button and I don't know, little labels, maybe round labels and things. And I'm trying to cover up the word that says hotel because both of them said that they were hotel buttons, which is random to me. I don't understand that. Or seals or logos or whatever you want to call them. So I was covering up the word hotel. So it still had words on it and it was still pretty cool to look at, but it just didn't, it was more travel themed than it was sleepy themed. At least when I think of a hotel, I always think that that's where I'm going to go to bed. So that's what I'm going to be doing. Okay, so now that I've got everything all filled in, I really like how this turned out, but I want to cut off my my portion, the hangy bit, because I want it to look like it goes through this little, almost like a letter with a pocket watch on top. And I really wanted the pocket watch to be visible and stuck out, but it doesn't end up happening. I end up actually taking it off because I forgot about the title at this point. Just so excited to add some clusters to my layout. So here I'm going to add that in, and then I bring in this big giant, and look at that. It doesn't work. Oh, that stinks. So I decide, okay, I need to figure out where my title is going to go first. Then I can play well with others. And I cut my paper in half, and look at that. It's perfect, and nobody will know except for, there's proof on the video. Gosh darn video. I'm going to add a little bit of a compass to my little cluster I have going on there. I absolutely love this. And then I'm going to cut my frame in half. I always cut my film strips in half, almost always, when I am covering them up with a whole bunch of stuff, because then I get a 2-for-1, right? I feel like I now can use it on another layout and nobody will know the wiser that I didn't use all of it. So I'm going to go ahead and color this raw chipboard with my old paper distress oxide. So that way I can get it to show up a little bit better. Plus it's not that dingy raw chipboard color. And go ahead and make a little cluster right next to the mechanics. And inside my geotag, I'm going to have this camera. Well, it's not really in the middle, but it's covering the middle. Is that safe to say? Yeah, I think so. So I'm going to go ahead and pop it up in there and just have that geotag little, and by the time it's done, I don't even think it looks like a geotag anymore. It's more just like a circle. I like a lens to the camera. Ooh, that's cool. Not planned, but that looks pretty cool. So I'm going to go ahead and pop up my, what is that called? Oh, it's the camera that I'm popping up. And then I went ahead and I popped up half of my Tiny Word chipboard. It's not a sticker. It's a chipboard. And that is my layout, you guys. I am super stoked with how this turned out and how happy my ticket finally turned out. It matches the front of my train on the Mente paper, I think, pretty well. I love my little cluster underneath my title. I just really am happy with how this looked, and I was able to use this paper and still maintain its gorgeousness. Like, I absolutely love how it looks. Now, I didn't understand the airplane flying over the train, but I'm okay with that. Gina, thank you so much for allowing us to use your sketch today. I had a blast and I absolutely loved it. I had fun with it. Don't forget to check out the Counterfeit Kit Facebook group so you can go and check out all of the challenges that they're having over there all month long, as well as everyone else using up all their supplies. I know mine are dwindling fast. And then also, too, don't forget to check out the links that I have down below for Christy's Beautiful Life 30 Days of Sketches. Thank you again for hanging out with me today. I really, truly appreciate it. And I will check y'all later. Bye.